Welcome, everyone. This is Ken Burgess, Vice President of Business Development, and I've got a great treat for us today on our series about SOMADERM, the HGH gel, and just what it can do and how it can help you improve your life. And I've got a wonderful guest on with us. I actually had a chance to listen to Dr. Leita Harris while I was in Cerritos. Dr. Harris has a practice out in the Riverside area, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Leita, but you had a chance to speak to a group of our distributors. She's an active distributor herself.
Yes.
You had a chance to speak to the distributors. I would say we had about 1,000 people in Cerritos, where you gave an incredible presentation on the value of HGH and how it works in the body. So Dr. Harris is an OBGYN with an active practice. She tells me she's doing more of women's health than children. She's past that series of having to deal with a lot of births. So we're going to turn the time over to her now. Dr. Leita, if I've left anything out, please include some of the background you have that actually got you to New U Life and SOMADERM.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Ken. I mean, it's an honor, of course, to be able to do this. And the people who brought me into the business is Jody and Peter Huganoff and my brother. And so I was very honored to be invited to give the presentation, both when we were in Cerritos. That was awesome. It was, like you said, it was a great event. I feel honored to be able to do this. So because I am very, very passionate about helping women and men, actually, because even though I am a gynecologist, I also take care of men's hormone health as well. So my practice is actually in Corona, although for the bulk of it, it was in Riverside, as you said. So anyways, I'm just here. I'm here to help. I'm here to educate people. That's my passion, is to help and to educate. So I just wanted to give a little bit of information about the endocrine system and helping people to understand what is this human growth hormone that we have such a valuable asset in our product at New U Life. So, but thanks again, Ken. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I know you've taken some time to prepare a short PowerPoint, and we want to get right into it. So
okay, perfect.
Let's go. Let's turn your presentation loose and share with people.
All righty. Very good. Okay, yeah, so this is the one that I did. And of course, the first part of it, and I need my glasses because I need to see my screen. So hopefully it's not too much of a glare, but you know, we've been talking about the SOMADERM gel. We've been talking about human growth hormone and the benefits of it. So I want to start from way back in the basics, and it's called the human endocrine system. It's a system that has to do with hormones in our body. So I'm hoping that my pointer is able to kind of demonstrate. So just so we know where human growth hormone comes from, this is a picture of what the human body would look like. So at the top here, this is the brain, okay? So, and then this box here is magnified in this section. So the glands that you see here, the pineal gland is actually one that produces melatonin. So that's what we have in our system to help with our whole sleep patterns. And then right here, this little peanut-sized gland right there is the pituitary gland. So again, this is the brain, this tiny little area, and this is the pituitary gland. The rest of the endocrine system, which has, of course, our hormones, is lots of different ones. So I wanted to let people see where the thyroid gland is. So if you see right here in front of the windpipe, that's the thyroid gland. And this is magnified on this section here. So this would be what they call the windpipe. The thyroid gland is right in front. And you also, these four little points here is what they call the parathyroid gland. This is something that regulates our calcium. And then right below here is the thymus. The thymus, although it says it's a gland, is actually more responsible for our immune system, because this is where we get a lot of our T cells that are produced. And this is something that helps with our immune system. And then if we come down, these little kidney-sized, kidney-shaped, I should say, is the kidneys, okay? That's the kidneys. Right on top of the kidneys are the two glands called the adrenal glands. So we're always talking about adrenal glands. And And sometimes I don't know if everyone knows where those are located. So that's why I wanted to do a demonstration by diagram. This is where we get our cortisol and other adrenocortical and glucocorticoids, things that have to do with our cortisol in our body. Right in the back here is our pancreas. And as we are maybe well aware of, pancreas is where our insulin comes from. And then as we move down, and I kind of made a joke about this when we were in Cerritos, this is not a bisexual human, okay? This is just a diagram to show if it's a woman, her uterus, okay, and the ovaries, which of course produce our women's hormones. And then if it's a man, the testes, which produce the male hormones as well. So in a nutshell, this is basically what the endocrine system is. So if we go to the next slide, this is going to be our magnification of the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. So again, this right here is the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus, okay, is the other area that's above the pituitary gland that sends different signals and other hormones down to help the pituitary gland secrete the hormones that it secretes. So again, you've got on the posterior pituitary gland, you have oxytocin, which is something that goes to the uterine muscles, which helps with contraction as well. And then also you have antidiuretic hormone, which goes to the kidneys that help to secrete the things that help with the kidney, just for like different clearance. I don't want to get too complicated with it, but it's something that helps with the kidneys. So now I'm going to move over to the anterior pituitary. This is the one that's yellow. So let's move over to this part of the slide. The anterior pituitary gland is amazing. It has a tremendous amount of hormones that are secreted from here. So when you look at these, so that we can all understand, TSH is thyroid stimulating hormone. This is what stimulates the thyroid gland to produce the thyroid hormones. Okay, you've got adrenocortical trophic hormone. This is what goes to the adrenal cortex to enable the adrenal glands to secrete what they secrete. This follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. This is what goes to the testes or to the ovaries to enable it to secrete its hormones. So I'm going to jump over this one and go here to prolactin, which goes to the mammary glands, and then of course other endorphins that go to the brain. So you see that these are all from the anterior pituitary gland, stimulating the other end organs to produce their hormones. But look right here. This is what's so amazing. Growth hormone. This says entire body. And this is what is amazing, because we kind of call it like our master hormone because it affects so many different aspects of our body. So these are more targeted, but the growth hormone actually can affect the whole body. And in this next slide, we're going to actually show what it does. So, you know, if I kind of want to just look at the basics, again, produced by the pituitary gland, right? Anterior pituitary gland. It actually begins early in fetal life. And it also, it's something that helps, of course, the body to grow, the muscles to grow, everything. There's some abnormalities that can actually happen that are genetic problems where you have too much growth hormone. And this is where people get something called acromegaly, which their hands are very large and everything is too much of it, and it end up growing too much. And this is where you have different types of genetic problems like gigantism, acromegaly, big hands, big feet. So again, early in fetal life is when this happens. Then you also have some genetic problems where there's actually deficiencies. And this is actually how growth hormone was discovered as something that can help to treat problems of growth hormone deficiency. So I won't go into that too much, but I'm just going to touch on this. So the growth hormone secretion peaks during puberty, and then it decreases. So it declines 50% every 7 years. So this is why we get all of the different things that come with aging. it declines over time. One other important thing is, you see where it says pulsatile secretion. It's not a constant secretion from the pituitary gland. It's pulsatile. So it, like for 90 minutes, it'll be secreting, and then it shuts down. So therefore, at any particular time, you can draw the blood and you may not pick it up because it's not actually being secreted at that time. So that's why you can't necessarily do a blood check at one isolated time and be able to see what the human growth hormone level is, because it's pulsatile. It secretes and then it shuts down, and it secretes and it shuts down. One of the things that's important also for us to understand with that secretion is that there's different times a day that it's enhanced. So at night when we go to bed, it peaks. So in deep sleep, it can actually go up. It also increases during fasting. It increases during exercise or trauma, or when the body is stressed, like sepsis. And it also is secreted in different times that have to do with your appetite. So it's modulated by a lot of different things that goes on in the body. And it's just important for us to understand these basics. It comes from the pituitary gland, it begins early in life, it peaks in puberty and then declines, and over time, and then there's a pulsatile secretion. So now we're going to move to help us to understand how human growth hormone actually mediates all of the different benefits that we see where it says the entire body. There's something called insulin-like growth factor, or IGF-1. And this slide here is the gem. I love this slide because it really helps us to understand the benefits. So again, what happens is the human growth hormone goes to the liver, okay? You see, so this diagram here just is demonstrating the pituitary gland with human growth hormone going into the liver. The liver produces insulin-like growth factor. So look at this, Ken. Insulin-like growth factors affects the neural development, the brain development. It also has anti-inflammatory effects. Insulin-like growth factor affects the cardiovascular development. It helps as a vasodilator, which means that it dilates the vessels. So it helps the heart vessels to function better. We don't want vasoconstriction. We want it to be dilated, which helps good blood flow. Insulin-like growth factor affects the musculoskeletal development and growth. So it helps with your muscles, with growth, also with recovery. It affects over here, the thymus. Remember, the thymus was where the immune cells come from. So immune cell function it helps with. It affects the kidneys. So again, the glomerular development and function. So these are the kidney vessels. And then even, of course, with fetal growth and development. So, and then here, this is where it affects also the ovarian, as well as the testicular development and function. So this is really the key to how.
I want to interrupt you right here.
Sure.
For me, it gets very, very exciting because we see these different organs of the body, how they affect what you're probably going to get into next is that aging process. As they start declining in function, we start putting on age. And we can see all of these factors. Yes, beauty is one thing, and I know that that's where a lot of HGH, the injections, are sold, but in reality, it's aging healthy, right? I mean, it's having things function at full value, or at least peak value as you age, so that you might be able to have a better life in your senior years than you would under normal situations.
Absolutely. And so that's actually how things came about, as you well know, with the injection, the human growth hormone injection, which this is what we have in the product is nothing. It doesn't have all of the different side effects. And you're right, this is something that we're going to talk about. But yes, when you see that this is affecting so many different organ systems, and when you're able to give something back to the body where all of these different organ systems are able to increase in their function and to be enhanced in their functions, that's how you can see the benefits over time. So, you know, but just to be able to understand why it's affecting so many different things and why we can say, hey, there's 40 different benefits that's there. And this is what I like, is just understanding how and why this is the case. So, so this, right, exactly. This is what we're talking about, potential clinical impact. You know, so again, when we looked at the different organ systems, so that's why with the neurological enhancement, you see improvement in mood, you see improvement in your sense of well-being, mental clarity and memory, you know, improved deep sleep because of the fact that this then goes to the neurologic systems. Physical impact, you know, people, you know, have energy and stamina. You've got muscle tone. You're able to reduce body fat. And of course, I'm using the terms that may not necessarily be, what do I want to say for the gel itself, because I know that there's compliance terminology. I'm just talking about human growth hormone right here. So
basically what you're saying is if we can get an increase in human growth hormone,
yes,
in a number of different ways, the fast, the
right,
exercise,
exactly.
If you can get that, if you can get that, then you can get benefits.
Right, exactly. Wrinkle, hair, skin, bones, and then of course, and strengthening your immune system, other hormones, etc. So this is where the beauty comes in all of it. And of course, you know, I'm grateful because the product that we have has even more than just the human growth hormone. It's got the adrenal support, it's got the thyroid support, it has the other whole leaf botanical ingredients in it that they in and of themselves individually are able to, even on top of what the human growth hormone does, enhance the improvement on how we're able to do. So, you know, I'm talking about here because when people started researching and saying, hey, like you said, that whole anti-aging and useful and benefits for our body, you know, of course, with athletes and things like that, they were talking about the injectable human growth hormone. And so we know that there's side effects that could be with the injectable version of it. And it's because high doses are used in a shooting up the human growth hormone levels in our body. There's always a potential for side effects when that happens. So fluid retention, you know, insulin resistant carpal tunnel, gynecomastia, which is like an increase in a male's breast tissue. These were all things that were happening with the injectable form, because again, it's high doses shooting up to super physiological doses as opposed to what we're doing. I mean, when he was able to develop a product that says, no, homeopathic, do it transdermally, let there be a slow increase over time so that your body can adjust and be able to not have these side effects. So of course, you know, we talk about how are we able to get the benefits that we do with human growth hormone without necessarily having the side effects. And so that's where, you know, so I don't know if it's okay to show this slide here, but this is the homeopathic, you know, it's microdosed, smaller doses, so it doesn't shut down pituitary production. It's very small. It goes through the skin. There's no injections. Thousands of people, of course, you know, are reporting great results. You don't have to, you know, spend, you know, thousands of dollars for an injectable version of it. You have something that's FDA registered, which of course means that there's consistency. Whatever's on the label is what's on the label. It's not going to be something that you're like looking at a label and thinking, does this really have what it says it is? You bypass the oral, the digestive system that can break things down. And then of course, as I was mentioning earlier, you have adrenal and thyroid support as well. So we want optimal health, and that's you know what you were alluding to earlier. We're all going to age. Of course, our numbers are going to go up, but we want to age gracefully. We want to age with energy. We want to be able to function and do the things that we do in life with, you know, just feeling good, feeling strong and not being run down. And when you have something that can actually work from inside to the out and be able to just, again, help us to do and feel as well as look our best. It's been about a year now. I'm celebrating my anniversary, Ken, of being on the gel. So
Good.
August is my year of being on it. And I really have to say that there's no turning back. I'm just, you know, this is it. This is it for me. I finally was able to convince my husband to do it consistently as well. And he's doing great with it. So he's sold. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
The whole family at it.
That's right. That's right. Lots there as well. So,
and by the way, this slide is absolutely compliant. There's no fear.
Yes. Okay, good.
That's what we market as well. So you're fine.
Right. So perfect. So that's pretty much in a nutshell. Again, we wanted to just help people understand, you know, what human growth hormone is and why it's able to exert its effects through insulin-like growth factor and seeing how it affects the different multiple parts of the body. And that's why we can list, you know, 40 different benefits that, you know, on our different, you know, the paperwork that we have, the flyers, et cetera, of what human growth hormone can do. So.
Absolutely. And, you know, it does just go back to that, what can we do to increase get an elevation of our own human growth hormone. The great thing about this is we're really a precursor, we're a stimulant, we're a secretagogue that helps the pituitary gland get functioning again. And what you've shown us today are benefits of what can happen when we get that going. So
absolutely.
This has been exciting. I have to thank you, Dr. Leita Harris, for joining me today and be able to share this with the many thousands of people that will tune into your presentation. We're excited that you're a whole family on the product now. I'm thankful to your brother for getting you involved.
Yes.
The Hagenhofs for helping you and doing all that you've done, because that was certainly our introduction to you. So thank you very much for this. I don't know if you have anything to say in closing, but I would tell all those who are listening, this is a professional who specializes in hormone therapy, who has been involved. I think, Leita, you shared with me, you're even doing some testing. You do a little blood draw, you have patients on the product, all of those kinds of things.
Yes, I have several patients on the product, many. I haven't kept track, but of course, I'm getting great reports from them too, of just feeling good, having good sleep, having good energy. And a lot of them, because I do bioidentical hormones, a lot of them are actually, it's a nice complement to their bioidentical hormones. And I'm on bioidentical hormones myself. It's been on for 11 years now. And so this was just an enhancement. This was just something that took everything to another level. And several of my patients, yes, are using it and are also noticing how it has also it augmented or helped with their hormone balance as well. So I love it. It's great.
This is incredible. And you're certainly monitoring for safety, and you're finding that you haven't had any incidences there?
No safety issues, not at all. I think the biggest, I will have to say that one of my challenges, and I think it's everyone's challenges, is really educating people and letting them understand that you have to use it daily, you have to use the right amount, and you have to be patient. You have to allow it to do what it does, because over time, as things increase over time, as your body changes over time, that's when you're going to start noticing all of the benefits long-term. This is not a 1 week product. This is not a 1 month product. You have to commit to it in order for you to give yourself a fair opportunity to experience what it can do for you. So I think, again, the challenges that I have is helping people to understand that. This is not a, this is not a one-shot thing. This is not you're going to inject something and all of a sudden things are going to happen to you. This is, give it time, be patient. And, of course, being patient,
I would think that
challenges of getting people to be patient.
You have so much experience.
What's that?
I think we might be losing you, but I would
Yes.
think also that after having so much experience as you've done with hormones, especially with HGH injectables, even with those which are high dosage, you let people know it's not going to be an overnight effect.
It's not overnight.
Take a commitment of thousands and thousands of dollars and a long period of time to see results there. So
Right.
I love what you say about people giving this time,
Yes.
being consistent with it, and watch the results and the benefits happen in the future. So
Yes,
again,
absolutely.
thank you very, very much
Absolutely.
for being today.
All right.
It's exciting to be a part of you, to see your slides. We are excited to share this with the field. And again, Dr. Leita Harris, we appreciate how much you've done for New Life and SOMADERM.
Yes.
The message. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Take care, Ken.
Thank you.